let's be honest. We've all been in this situation before. We've wasted barrels. We've nosedived. We've looked like dorks. And we've put ourselves in dangerous positions. You might be surprised to know, though, that there is actually a skill involved in falling off safely. Now, I've been coaching a stack of beginner to intermediate surfers this week, and I'm noticing some consistent things that I'm going to share with you today. Some of them are really important when it comes to your surfing progress. Now, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel because this is Lesson of the Week, a show where we dissect new surf tips every single week. If you want to come surfing with me, join me on Instagram or YouTube at Kale's Broccoli. Now, I was going to film this at the beach like we normally do, but it's so freaking windy today that you wouldn't be able to hear me, so I thought I'd just film here. So, are you ready? Let's talk about the art of the stack. Let's talk about the glorious kook slam, the elegant swan dive, and all the rest of it. Notice that surfers tend to fall off a certain way, don't they? And it's not by accident. Surfers, as a first priority, are trying to fall off of the wave as far away from their surfboard as possible. Now, this is because the turbulent motion of the whitewater can cause a surfboard to go anywhere. I myself have had fin cuts to the head, fin chops to the ankles, board bruises all over my body. The pain is more than I can handle sometimes. Notice here on these waves how I deliberately fell away from my surfboard. It's pretty obvious how to do this, but many people don't. What I want you to think about is this. If I fall off to the front of the surfboard, like Ryan does here, what's going to happen? Well, the wave can actually push the surfboard toward you at a dangerously fast, unpredictable pace, which can lead to injury. This is why surfers fall off to the side of the surfboard and not the front if they can manage it. A great rule to follow here is to avoid putting the surfboard between yourself and the wave. That is a no-go. Now, there are going to be times where you can't control where the surfboard is in relation to the wave. Unexpected things happen when you're surfing. But during those times, it's important to protect yourself from injury. Covering your head is also a good idea if you know that the surfboard is marching down upon you with a wave. Obviously, your head is going to take priority over various parts of the body. Importantly, you should take a little extra time underneath the water when this occurs to avoid popping up after the wave and having the surfboard land on your head. If you nosedive, for instance, the board tends to shoot backward almost into the air, then it tugs on the leg rope, of course, and it has to come back down. Now, don't by any means pop up out the back of the wave too enthusiastically in this situation because you may end up with a board to the head. Rather, come up slowly with your hands above your head for extra protection. The other thing that surfers are trying to do when they fall off is penetrate the water. The longer a surfer has to roll around on the surface of the water, the more at chance they are of getting injured, running into a board, or having to hold onto their breath for a longer time. Keep in mind though, this will generally mean the surfboard goes with the wave while you punch through it like this. And this results in a strong tugging motion on your leg rope. So if the wave's too big, it can rip your leg rope off. And of course, you have to look out for other people. It's important to note here that a primary concern should be held for the other surfers in the water. Obviously, if it means putting someone else in danger by throwing away your surfboard to get it as far away from you as possible, then you might need to rethink that strategy. I myself, when I got my stitches in my head, they were from a wayward beginner surfboard. A beginner was surfing out of his depth in waves bigger than he was used to, and he surprised me by not duck diving and throwing his board. The board went bang, split my head open, stitches, no surfing for 2 weeks. That was the worst part of it. So anyway, without complaining, long story short, keep your eyes peeled whilst on the wave, yes, but also paddling in between the waves. Now, I want to talk about another factor when it comes to falling off. Now, it's not quite as tangible, but it's equally as significant. Fear. We all experience it in the water at some point, especially when we're not used to being there. Over time, this fear tends to fade away to be replaced by controlled excitement and confidence in the way you conduct yourself in the water, an excitement to catch waves and a confidence that you're going to be fine whilst doing so. And my mission with today's video is to fast track your progress to that point where you'll feel confident in your abilities to enjoy sessions without the possibility of getting hurt. Because what many people don't realize is that it's often the fear itself which causes the most injuries out in the ocean. Yes, you heard me correctly. More confident surfers get hurt less often. Let me explain why. When we perceive something fearful, it causes us to react with something very natural, but also potentially inhibiting: hesitation. Now, hesitation is a very natural instinct. It helps us survive in given primal scenarios and many non-primal scenarios as well. But what it does is cause a hiccup in process. And in surfing, process is everything. Let's look at the takeoff, for example. This here is Zara, one of my clients, who paddled out with me in some pretty challenging conditions for a beginner. She braved some serious drops and took them graciously in her stride. Nice work, Zara. Now, what I noticed coaching Zara and watching the footage back was her hesitation in a few moments actually caused some serious wipeouts to occur. When we identified these, she made some excellent improvements. Now, this moment here, as Zara is paddling into this wave, she notices just how steep it is. This perception, oh, the wave is super steep, causes her to adopt a safety position on the surfboard. Arms locked, center of gravity close to the board, and just generally not a great takeoff position. Now, this might seem logical at the time, but look what happens next. She hits the bottom of the wave, which is nice and hollow, and she nosedives, taking on some serious sand and water as a result. Now, let's rewind that and postulate a potential better scenario. Had Zara acknowledged that fear, but overcome it and moved into the normal takeoff process, which is going to be likely with more time in the water and external cues like this video, she could have been able to avoid the nosedive. The reason she nosedived is because she took the incorrect line for the wave. She went straight when the wave was actually breaking to the right over here. Over here, she would have been able to fit her board into the wave by engaging her inside rail and riding in the curl. Over here though, it's nosedive territory because the board simply can't fit on the wave without entering the water itself. So the lesson here? Hesitation, although necessary, often causes a lot of problems while surfing. It's sometimes hard to teach someone how to overcome hesitation, but I think the scenario that you just saw there is one of the best ways to do so. Going out with someone more experienced than you, at a higher level than you, and getting them to help push you into circumstances and challenges that previously were out of your depth is one of the best ways to do this. And I know we keep saying it, but with every video that we do, one of the best lessons that you can have in surfing is time in the water, experience. We know this, but where our videos come into play, where these tips come into play, is the external cues category. And they can be very important as well. They can be game changing when explained in the right way. So I hope I've done that today for you. And I hope I've been able to give you guys some tangible ideas to go out there with in your next surf. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what else you want to see on the show. And join me on Instagram and YouTube at Kale's Broccoli. It's nice and windy today, but it's flat. There's no swell. So I'm hoping tomorrow's going to be good. I will let you guys know, perhaps. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you soon.